Some people move through life feeling like the timing is right. Things line up. Milestones make sense. They feel present where they are. And then there are others. People who feel slightly off. Not broken, not lost, just out of sync. Like everyone else is walking to a rhythm they can't quite hear. If this resonates, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's a reason for it. You might notice it in small moments, scrolling through social media and feeling an odd distance, watching people your age hit milestones that don't feel like yours, sitting in conversations where you nod, but something inside stays quiet. It's not jealousy, it's not bitterness, it's more subtle than that. It's the feeling of being early or late to your own life, like you showed up at the right place at the wrong time. People who feel out of sync often struggle to explain it, because from the outside, their life looks fine. They're functioning, they're capable, they're doing what they're supposed to do. But internally, there's a quiet mismatch between who they are and where they are, between their inner pace and the world's expectations. This feeling doesn't usually come from one big failure. It builds slowly. It starts when you realize your inner world is moving at a different speed. You think deeply. You reflect a lot. You question things others accept easily. While the world rewards speed, certainty, and confidence, you move with awareness, caution, and nuance. That alone can create distance. Many people who feel out of sync grew up learning to adapt early. They learned to observe before acting, to read the room, to adjust themselves to fit situations. They became good at functioning, but not always at arriving. So later in life, they do what's expected, but it doesn't land the way it should. Achievements feel quieter than they look. Milestones feel hollow. Progress feels delayed even when it isn't. There's often a deep sense of internal timing in these people. They know when something feels right and when it doesn't. The problem is the world doesn't wait for internal timing. So they compromise. They say yes when they're unsure. They move forward when they still feel unfinished. They step into roles that don't quite fit yet. And each small compromise adds to the feeling of being misaligned. Over time, this creates a strange emotional state. You're busy, but not fulfilled. You're moving, but not grounded. You're progressing, but not present. It's like dancing half a second behind the music. You're still dancing, but you never fully relax into it. People who feel out of sync often blame themselves. They think they're late, or slow, or broken in some invisible way. They wonder why things don't feel natural, why motivation comes in waves, why clarity feels temporary. But the truth is, many of them are highly attuned individuals in a world that moves bluntly. They notice subtleties others ignore, emotional shifts, unspoken tension, the meaning beneath words. That depth makes life richer, but it also makes it heavier. Because when you're deeply aware, it's harder to rush, harder to fake alignment, harder to pretend something fits when it doesn't. Another reason this feeling persists is comparison. Not loud comparison, quiet comparison. The kind that happens internally. You measure your inner chaos against others' visible certainty, your questions against their confidence, your pauses against their momentum. And slowly, you start believing you missed a step, that you're behind, outdated, off schedule. But life doesn't actually run on one schedule. Some people bloom early and stabilize later. Some wander longer and land deeper. Some lives look linear, others spiral inward before expanding outward. Feeling out of sync doesn't mean you're failing. It often means your path isn't obvious, even to you. There's also grief in this experience. Grief for the version of life you thought you'd have by now. Grief for the ease you assumed would come with age. Grief for the clarity you keep waiting for. It's quiet grief, rarely acknowledged, often minimized, but it's real.
Many people who feel out of sync are incredibly self-aware. They know what doesn't feel right, they just don't yet know what does. That gap can feel unbearable at times, because awareness without direction can feel like standing still even when you're moving. So, they keep going. They keep showing up. They keep adjusting. They keep hoping alignment will arrive on its own. And sometimes it does. But often, alignment comes only after permission. Permission to move at your own pace, to redefine progress, to stop forcing timelines that don't match your internal rhythm. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling this way. You're not late to life. You're not failing to keep up. You're navigating with a different compass, one that values meaning over momentum, depth over speed, alignment over approval. And that kind of life doesn't unfold loudly. It unfolds quietly, in pauses, in recalibration, in moments where you choose honesty over expectation. If you feel out of sync, it might be because you're listening inward in a world that constantly demands outward proof. That's not a flaw, it's a different orientation. Eventually, many people like this do find their rhythm, not because they finally catch up, but because they stop trying to. They build a life that moves with them, not ahead of them, not against them. A life that feels slower on the outside and calmer on the inside. Feeling out of sync is uncomfortable, but it often means you're closer to something real than something rehearsed. And sometimes the people who arrive last arrive with the deepest understanding of where they are. You're not broken. You're just listening to a quieter rhythm, and that rhythm still counts.
If this felt familiar, this space is for people like you. More reflections coming.